Benjafunna, a man whose strength at 85 rivaled that of a youth, stood atop a jagged outcrop. He looked toward the fortified city of Kirjasefa, the city of books. It was a place of dark wisdom and high walls, a stronghold of the Anakim giants that had haunted the nightmares of Israel for generations. Caleb's voice boomed across the valley, silencing the murmurs of the tribes. "He who smites Kirjasefa and takes it," Caleb declared, his hand resting on the hilt of his heavy blade. "To him will I give Aksah my daughter to wife." In the shadows of her father's tent, Aksah listened. She was not a trembling maiden waiting to be bartered. She was a daughter of the man who had outlived an entire generation of doubters. She had his eyes that saw giants and saw only targets, so the challenge was not just a test of muscle. It was a test of destiny. Kirjasefa was a labyrinth of stone. To take it required more than a sword. It required a mind that could unlock the secrets of the ancients. From the ranks stepped Othniel, Caleb's nephew. He was a man of quiet intensity, a warrior who moved with the fluid grace of a leopard. While others shouted, Othniel observed. He looked at the city, then he looked at the tent where Aksah stood. Their eyes met for a fleeting second, a silent pact sealed in the dust. The siege lasted 3 days. On the 4th, Othniel did not use a battering ram. He used the very shadows of the Anakim against them. He scaled the unclimbable southern precipice under the cover of a sandstorm, infiltrated the gate haze, and turned the city of books into a pyre of liberation. When the smoke cleared, Kirjasefa was gone. In its place stood Debir. And Othniel stood before Caleb, blooded but unbowed, claiming his prize of the wedding of Aksah and Othniel was a celebration of survival. But Aksah knew that in the arid, unforgiving landscape of the Negev, a title and a city were not enough to sustain a lineage. Her father had gifted them a portion of land, the Southland. To a casual observer, it was a generous gift. To a woman who understood the geography of the soul, it was a beautiful graveyard. The Southland was parched, a desert of shimmering heat where the ground cracked like old bone. As a wedding procession began, Aksah sat atop her donkey. The atmosphere was festive, but her mind was a map. She watched her new husband, Othniel, riding ahead. He was a conqueror of cities, but she would be the conqueror of the future. She whispered to Othniel as they rode, her voice a low, urgent melody. "Urge my father for a field. Not just any field, but the one that holds a key to this dust." Othniel hesitated. To ask for more after receiving a city felt like greed. But Aksah saw the drought before it arrived. She saw their children's children begging for a drop of moisture. She realized that power without resources is merely a gilded cage. Suddenly, Aksah did something that halted the entire procession. She dismounted from her donkey. In the culture of the ancient Near East, for a woman of status to dismount so abruptly was a sign of profound distress or formal petition. Caleb, startled, turned his horse back. The warriors fell silent. The wind whistled through the acacia trees. "What do you want, my daughter?" Caleb asked. His voice was no longer the roar of a general, but the soft inquiry of a father who knew his daughter never moved without purpose. Aksah stood in the dust, her posture regal, her eyes locked onto the man who had defied the giants of Hebron. She didn't ask for gold. She didn't ask for servants. "Give me a blessing," she began, her voice carrying across the silent hills. "Since you have given me land in the south, give me also springs of water." She was telling her father that his gift was incomplete. A desert without a spring is a sentence of death. Caleb looked at his daughter. He saw in her the same audacity that had made him stand before Moses 40 years prior and say, "We are well able to overcome it." He didn't just give her one spring. He gave her both. Aksah's story is a bridge between the conquest of the land and the era of the judges. Because she secured the water, Othniel's household became the strongest in the region. It was his foundation, this well-watered life, that prepared Othniel to eventually become the first judge of Israel. While the men fought with swords, Aksah fought with foresight. She turned a barren inheritance into a lush sanctuary. She taught Israel that a territory is only as strong as its source of life. Aksah remains a symbol of a woman who refuses to let her destiny dry up in the heat of circumstance. She is the guardian of the springs, the woman who turned the Southland into a garden. Aksah's life proves that the greatest victories aren't always won on the battlefield. Sometimes they are won in the quiet moment when a